In this video, we're going to create this fancy modern looking portfolio on the simplest possible way. We are going to create this wavy landing section. After that, the About Me section where we have our text automatically generated. And after that, project section where we have all the images of our projects in this fancy looking parallax scroll, and each image has this animation and it's a link to our actual project. And last section is our sparkling contact section where we have our button which is opening the mailing application automatically and sending an email to whatever email we put in here. This entire project is fully responsive, it's working on all resolutions, and you have the source code available on a public GitHub repo and it's in the description below. For this project we are going to use Next.js, React, Tailwind, Shadcn and Eternity UI. So let's go! As always, first thing we are going to do is to run the npx create next app latest, which is going to install the latest Next.js application on our machine, and I'm going to call portfolio our application. So we are going to use TypeScript, ESLint, Tailwind CSS. We are not using sources directory, we are using app router, and we don't want to customize the default import alias. And now our application is being installed. And here it is. So now I can go to portfolio and run pm dev to run my application. Now I can just go command and click or control plus click if you're on Linux or Windows. And here we have our Next.js application ready for development. And now we can open our code and on our main page delete all the default stuff from Next.js, and instead of that one we are just going to put one h2 tag and we are going to say portfolio and remove this image because it's not used anymore. So now here we have our portfolio heading and now we can start installation of Shadcn. So I'm opening the Shadcn documentation. Here it is, and we are going to the docs, after that to installation, and then Next.js. So we already did this step, so now we need to run the npx shadcn UI latest init command. I'm going to open a new terminal window. I'm going to the projects portfolio, that's the directory where we installed our Next.js app, and I'm running the Shadcn UI initialization. So I'm using the default style. We can take gray, for example. We can change the theme later. And I'm going to use CSS variables for colors. And now success. So we installed our Shadcn. Now if we check our code, we can see that we have new stuff from Shadcn imported. So components.json. Package is changed and Tailwind config, bunch of new stuff. And also what is really important is this cn function with which we can merge all the Tailwind classes and override the Shadcn components. So now we just have a couple of more of steps. So here in our root layout, I'm going to put everything from Shadcn documentation. So I'm going to the layout, and here I'm going, instead of this inter, to import it like this. And then we are going to use this one. So importing it here inside of our layout. And then for our body, I'm just going to put this class name with the cn. And also a couple more of classes, so this one should be fine. And then we need to add font family to our Tailwind config file. So I'm going to Tailwind config, here it is. And if we see here, we need to extend our theme with font family. So I'm going to put it here. And now we need to import the font family on top of our file. And we are just going to switch it to import instead of require. And now we should be able to install our components. And if we check our next step, it looks almost the same. We don't have that gradient behind, so we can start importing components that we need from Shadcn. For now, I'm just going to add this button because I know we are going to need that one. And to test out if everything is working fine, this looks great. So now if I go here, yeah, we have our button. So that is fine and we can use it inside of our project. So let's close now everything except our page and we can start with our first component, and we are going to start with header. So we are going to use floating navbar from Shadcn UI, which is really an awesome library with fancy looking components. And here I'm going to search for floating navbar. Here it is. And as you can see, when I start scrolling up, it's looking really nice. It's minimalistic, and we can use it for these kind of websites where you have only 3 or 4 sections. And for that one, we need Framer Motion. So I'm going to install all these dependencies that we need, pm add, and then this one, so Framer Motion, CLSX, and Tailwind merge. And after that, this one we already have, so that's the CN that we got with Shadcn. And we need this floating navbar.tsx. So I'm going to put it inside the UI directory. So I need to name it floating navbar.tsx, and I'm pasting it inside. I think even the CN directory is completely the same, so now we can already test it out. I think that we need for that one our nav items array, which is rendered then later. Let's see here in code. Yeah, so basically we need those nav items, and inside we have these like home, about, contact, etc. And then we just need to use it as props inside of our floating nav. So I'm going to copy just this part here, and I'm going to put it now. Let's go directly into the layout. So we are going to have it always available on our project. So here, instead of this icon home, maybe we even have it. No, let's use what we have from Lucid React, this one, and I'm going to call here what's the name of the floating nav? So floating nav from our components, and our nav items should be our nav items from here. Awesome, let's see now if it works. So here this is the thing always when installing Shadcn, you need to restart your application from some reason. Something happens with the rendering and everything. So let's see if we have now our navbar. I don't see it. Okay. Let's see what's going on. It's probably because we don't have the height of our screen. It's always the screen height. So let's put here, for example, 400 RAM and go down. Now up. Yeah, here it is. Okay, awesome. So we have here our floating navbar, and that one is pretty much done. We just need to remove this login button. We don't need that one. And that home icon is, I guess, used probably on smaller screens. Yeah, here it is. It's the home icon that we imported. And let's now remove this login button. So when we go to our floating nav and go to login, I'm just going to delete this one. And let's see now if that one, yeah. So now we have only home, except it's not looking really that great. I'm going to add a little bit more of padding. We probably had something here. Yeah, so we had px4 on this button, and I'm just going to add it on the whole on links. So it's probably here somewhere, space x1. Okay, so if I add px maybe somewhere here. I hate these like double spaces and things. So I'm just going to try adding px on this one. Let's see what are we going to do with that one. So now if we check, yeah, now it's looking good. Awesome. So now we have our navbar, and we are going to add the links as we create our sections inside this project. So let's now just on our layout return this one to screen. Awesome. And while we are here, we can create our footer. So I'm going to create here footer.tsx, and that one is just going to be something basic. I'm using here my snippets to create a component and just changing this one to big F. So we are going to put here footer, and we can just say padding of 5 and height of maybe 10. And let's see, background black to put it inside of our layout beneath the children. So I'm calling here our footer from the components directory. And let's see, yeah, so here it is. We're just going to put here some copyright made with love and things like that. How I do it usually is here inside of our footer, I put the year, and I'm getting it from the new date, and then get full year like this. And I'm putting that one inside the footer. And because of the orcs and everything, I put made, not of, made with X, and then our year. So now if we check it out, it's probably invisible. Here it is, made with X 2024. And instead of black, we're just going to put background, which is Shadcn background. And it depends if it's light or dark mode. And now here it is. It's not maybe really perfect. Let's put a little bit more of height. So yeah, now it's okay. We don't need to put anything else inside our footer because we're going to create a contact me section. So let's now start with our main thing, and that's the wavy background for our landing page. That one is again from Eternity UI, and it's called Wavy Background. Here it is, and look how cool this one looks. Hero waves are cool. And for that one, we need to install Simplex Noise. We already have the Framer Motion, CLSX, and Tailwind Merge. So I'm adding just this one. And we have our CN inside of our utils, and we are going to create this wavy background component. So here in the UI, I'm creating a new wavy background.tsx, and I'm pasting the entire component. And how does it work is we are using the children, and whatever we put inside, it's going to be wrapped with our wavy background. But best way to approach this is to use this code from their example. So I'm going to take this whole code snippet and put it inside of our page where we have this portfolio. So I'm going to try to put it here. I'm not sure if it is going to work because of these flex, min, height, screen and everything, but let's try it out. How does it look? So here it looks, I mean, look at this one. It's already cool, and we didn't do really anything, and that's why it's really simple and awesome to create a portfolio like this, because you can create it like in 1 hour, and look how awesome it looks. And this additional space here is probably coming from this main, from here. Let's see, yeah, so it's looking great without that, and we have our footer below. So that's cool. Let's just change this text. So hero waves are cool. I'm just going to say welcome to my portfolio like this. Let's see how does it look. Looks awesome. Let's check the mobile responsiveness for this one. Awesome. Yeah, it looks really nice. And below I'm just going to say something orcish like I am a true web dev warrior. Like this. Let's see how does it look. Oh, these capitals are not really great. It's more fancy when it's small letters. Awesome. This one is a great start. Of course, you can write whatever you want. You have this code on my public GitHub repo. And now, next section, projects. So for projects, we are going to use the parallax again from our Eternity UI, and that's the parallax scroll, this one. And this one looks really awesome, and it's easy to implement. So we are going the same thing like for all other components. So here we don't need to install anything. So we have all 3 dependencies. We don't need this one. We just need to import our parallax scroll.tsx. So here I'm creating parallax scroll.tsx, and I'm pasting the entire component. And now we need to put this parallax scroll below the wavy background. So we are going to copy again the implementation from the documentation, and I'm going to create a new folder inside of components, and I'm going to call it sections. So for each section, I'm going to create a separated component, and in this case, it's going to be projects.tsx. So I'm using snippets again, and here I'm going to paste the entire component. I can just do it like this. So instead of parallel scroll demo, I'm just going to put projects, and it's being imported from the right path. And let's see how is it going to work. So now on our main page, here below the wavy background, I'm going to import our projects like this. Here it is. And let's see how does it look. So now we have a problem with the invalid sources prop. So we need to put this one inside of our Next.js config. So going to the next config.mjs, and here we need to allow our images to come from those remote patterns. So it is called like that, remote patterns. And there we need our host name, and that one is going to be this one copied from here. So the image is Unsplash like this, and the protocol is HTTPS. So we are putting it here as HTTPS. So let's try it out now, refreshing. Now we should be able to pull the images from that images splash, whatever it's called. And let's see, here it is. Awesome. We have our projects, and we can scroll all these projects like this, and it looks really nice. It's only like that the background should be black also, like on our wavy background here. And we need to add the project's link that is going to lead to this new section. So let's fix that one. So let's quickly just change that background to black. So I'm going to add the section element inside of our projects, and just use here the brackets, and here I'm going to put the background black. So now we can see here that it looks much better already, and this one is also black. So we can even turn probably this footer to black. We are not going to put light and dark mode because this whole like design is dark mode-ish. So we can just put a heading here also. I'm going to put here H2, and I'm going to write here projects. Let's see how does it look. So where is it? Oh, it's probably black. So here I'm going to put text white, and now we can see it here. It's not really that good, but we need to put here flex. Then we can put flex column, justify center, items center, and also this H2 should be something like 4XL. And let's see now. Now it is already much better. And here we're going to put a gap of 10. And we made a gap between our parallax scroll and our heading. So now it already looks much better than it was before. And now we need to add our project's link to our floating navbar. So that one is in the layout. We there placed our nav items. So I'm going to copy paste this entire thing, and it's going to be projects. And here we can put some, let's see if there is some gallery. Here it is, horizontal, something like that, some icon. Okay, so now we have our projects, and let's see that icon. How does it look? Well, it's decent enough. I think this one is really good for projects. And now we just need to link these projects to our section. So for that one, I'm going to put here projects like this, and inside of our projects component, here I'm just going to say ID projects. Let's see if that one works. So if I click projects, we are going directly to our projects, and that's exactly what we need. But we need to make it just a little bit more smoother. You see when I click projects, it's instantly there. So there's an easy way to do that, and it's in the layout. We just need to put here on our HTML, scroll smooth like this. And now when we click it, it's just smoothly going to our projects, and that's the easiest way probably to do something like this without some serious libraries. And now one last thing with projects is that we need to create these images to be actually links, because we are going to put here probably some kind of project that we need to show. So for that one, here inside the projects, we need to put a new prop. So here in parallax scroll, we have our images, and inside images, it's only an array of strings type. So here we need to create our own interface, and I'm going to name it project. And that interface is going to have an image, which is going to be a string, and it's going to have a link, which is going to be a string also. So this one is going to be an array of projects and not array of images. So now we need to search for every occurrence that we have with images. So here .length .slice, we are doing a bunch of stuff with that one. So we are going to rename this one to projects, and here also, and we are going to replace each images dot with projects. Let's go from here. So here we have only 4 occurrences, and that's okay. So here you cannot find the name projects, because here it should be project S like this, and that one looks okay. So now we need to change our sources. So instead of L, we need to put L.image. But let's search for other as well. Yeah, here it is, .image, like this. And I think that we are good. So let's now go to the projects, and here we need to put a link for each image and then send it as projects and not as images. So here I'm going to rename this constant to projects. And now we need to turn each of these strings to an actual object. So I'm going to take first this one and search for every occurrence like this. Okay, that one is good. So I'm creating an object, and this one is going to be an image, and that's this string right here. And then here I can search for these q equals 80. And there I'm going to close our object and going to put a link, which I'm going to put just https orcdev.com like this. And I think that our object is now looking good. No, it's complaining about something. Let's see. Oh, I'm missing the commas. So after each link, I need to put here a comma like this. Yeah, now it's looking good, and we can see behind it something happened. So we have our projects back, and now we can put inside of our parallax scroll here, we can wrap each image with a link, and we are using it from next link like this. And we are just going to say href to our element.link, not image, but link. Yeah, like this. Awesome. And now same thing for each occurrence of our images here. And now it should work. Let's see. Just I'm going to put target to blank so it opens a new tab. Okay, so we should be back. Awesome, it's working. So these are our projects, and now we can just change it a little bit on hover to put some animation. So we can say hovers just scale to 105, and we can just put transition and is in duration 300. Let's see now how does it look. So we have this little animation and users can just click and open the project that we worked on, and this one is, I think, awesome. So let's now just color this footer before we move on to our next section, and it should be background black and text white. Here it is, nice. And let's just here on our main page put this one into a new component, and that one is going to be inside of our sections. So we can call that hero.tsx, creating a new component with our React snippets, and we're just going to call our wavy background, removing this React, and here we are calling for our hero. Hero, did I call it hero? Oh, I need to put capital H, and now we are calling for our hero. Here it is, and now we have two sections, and that one looks much better than to have a bunch of code here. And removing this one. Awesome. Let's now move to our contact session. Let's now move to our contact section. So creating here contact.tsx, and I'm creating again with React snippets, and I'm going to put capital C, and here I'm just going to put contact, and on our page here I'm importing our contact component, and that's going to be the last component that we are going to create. So here it is, and here we are going to create a button which is going to open our mail application to send mail directly to whatever mail we put here. So for this one we are again going to use some fancy component from here, because why shouldn't we do that? And this one is called sparkles, and here it is. It's these fancy sparkles that we have here. So let's install that one. So we need a bunch of particles dependencies. We have these three already, so I'm putting pm add these ones. So that's TS particles, React, Engine, Slim. And here it is installed. So now we can just add these sparkles inside of our UI directory. So it's sparkles.tsx, and I'm pasting the entire component like this. And now, as always, we're going to take from the documentation how are they using this one, or even better, I think, yeah, I'm going to use this example. So I'm copying the entire thing, and I'm going to our contact, and here I'm pasting it. So just renaming this one to contact, and let's see how does it look now. And something is happening. It should be export default function like this, and let's see how does it look. So here it is. It's not very good like with our projects. We are going to change that a little bit to put some gradient, but this one looks really magical. This is going to be awesome for our contact section. For this one, I think that we can just put a little bit of padding inside of our project. So here in our section, I'm going to put padding of 10. And let's see, yeah, now we have a little bit of space between, so that one is better. Now we're going to change this text. Instead of build great products, we're going to say interested in working together like this. And let's see how does it look. Looks nice, okay. And below we are going to create a button, and that one is going to be imported from UI components, and there we're going to write send me an email, and we're going to put an icon, envelope. Is it envelope? No, it's maybe mail. Yeah, here it is, Lucid React Mail, and we're going to put size of 5. Let's see how does it look. Nice. Oh, it's actually not working good. It's probably some Z index here. I'm going to put Z10 to test it out. Yeah, so probably these particles were over our button, so we need to put Z index here. And now it looks good. We just need a little bit of spacing. First, we don't need this one. Then here ML2. So we're adding a little bit of margin between the text and the envelope icon. And now we need gap between these two. There is probably some flex. Yeah, here it is. So I'm just going to put gap of 10. And this is maybe too much. Let's put gap of 5. And this one is perfect. Let's just make this button a little bit bigger. So I'm going to put size here to large, like this. Nice. And this one looks great. We just need to put a link. So here I'm putting a link from Next.js and putting it around the button, so wrapping the button up, and I'm going to put here mail to and then some orcish email.com. And let's test that one out. I don't know why everything refreshed. Let's go to our contact and here send me an email. It's again dead because this link should have this Z like this index. And now when we send an email, it's opening my mail and here it is. So that one is working. That's awesome. Let's now put here a new link, which is going to be for our contact. So that's in our layout. Here I'm putting a new object and that one is going to be called contact. And here we're going to put hashtag contact. And for this one, we are going to use some phone. Let's see how is this one looking. And in our contact, I need to put here ID. So I'm going to call this section, not div. And I'm going to put ID contact. And let's see how is it working. So I'm going up here somewhere and oh, it's not added. Okay, did I save the layout? Probably not. So now if I refresh, here it is. And if I click contact, we're going directly to our contact section. Nice. So we also need our home. I forgot to add that. It's just refreshing the screen. So this one I'm going to put home, and inside of our hero, I'm going to put here also section like this, and ID is going to be home. Awesome. So now let's go here. Now I scroll a little bit, click home, and we are going directly to our hero section. And the only thing that is left is the about me section, and that one is going to be here between the hero and projects. So let's create it here inside of our sections, creating a new about.tsx, and I'm creating again with my snippets. So I'm putting here capital A, and I'm going to copy our projects. So from here, I'm going to use this section and this same title, and I'm going to put it inside of our about. And I'm just going to close here the section, and here I'm going to say about me. And let's see how does it look when I put it inside of our page. So I'm putting it here, about, and it should be, yeah, here it is. And now we are just here going to put some text, and we need to use, of course, a little bit of fancy components from Eternity UI. And we're going to use this component text generate effect. And look, it looks really fancy and it's perfect for this kind of like descriptions, big text. So we have already everything here, and we just need to copy paste this text generate effect component. So I'm putting it here inside of our UI components, text generate effect.tsx, and I'm pasting the entire component here. So now let's see how is it used. We just need words, and to put it like this, I'm just going to use this text so I don't need to come up with something. So here inside of our about section, I'm putting these words, and below of our header, I'm just going to put this text generate effect with those words. like this, and importing it from our UI components. And let's see how does it look now. Here I'm refreshing, and oh, it's black. Okay, but it was white in the beginning. Interesting. So I'm going to change it inside of our, something is wrong here, cannot find module. Okay, so I need to just reload the window to see if everything is fine. And yeah, it's good. Okay, so I'm going to text generate effect, and here I'm just going to remove all this. We don't have light and dark mode. I'm just going to say text white, and now it's working. Awesome. I'm just going to put a little bit of padding, and when I say little bit, it's going to be a little bit more. So here we'll already have 10. I'm going to put 24, and yeah, now it looks much better. So we have this text that is generating, and this one is really awesome. And I would just change this about me projects and this font. I think it needs to be the same like this one, because we have this difference, and it's obvious that, yeah, and this one is really great. So I'm going to put that font here also. So let's see what's the difference in the font there. I'm going to text generate effect, and oh, it's actually just font bold. It's not some other font. It's only the boldness. So here I'm going to put font bold. Yeah, now it looks already much better. I'm going to put it on projects also, on H2. Here it is. And yeah, now it looks great. And now we need a new link. So I'm going to the layout again. And here I'm putting our about, and it's going to be about, and we can put just some user icon like this. And let's put on our about section ID about, and now it should work. Let's test it out. So here I'm clicking about, working. Awesome. I don't know why is it that fast. Let's try again. It should be smoother. Yeah, now it's great. And we can just put a little bit more of padding and maybe some difference in the color. I don't like it now that everything is completely black between these components. We can maybe change the entire color and put some gradient for our about me section. Or why wouldn't we just use some another fancy component? Here they have some kind of grid background, so let's search for that one. I'm going to type grid. Here it is, grid and dots. Okay, this one looks even more fancy. Let's try with this one. So we need this mini SVG data URI. I'm adding that one to our application. Then we need, what is this? Bunch of stuff inside of our tailwind config.ts. So I'm going to add that one here. So above of our config, and then what we need is plugins. So we need to add this one to our plugins, add variables for colors, and also this function. So I'm adding that one here below our Tailwind CSS animate like this, and we need this function. Yeah, here it is, add variables for colors, and adding that one below. So that one is using hoisting, that's why it can be called from here. And now we can probably use our grid. Yeah, there is no actually component, we just placed everything inside of our Tailwind, and here is the small grid. I want this one, and now we can just copy this entire thing and put it inside of our about. So we can put it here, and instead of this paragraph we are going to put our generated text. So let's try it out here now. Oh, here it is, it's white. Okay, so we need to remove all the dark things. Yeah, so it should be dark by default, so I'm removing this one, and I'm going to put this grid small white like this, and this one also removing. We don't have light mode. Is there dark somewhere else? Yeah, here. So I'm also going to delete background white, leaving background black, and looks like that's it. Awesome, here it is. It's much better. I'm just going to put a little bit less of space here, so we can, in our about, we can put just px instead of whole padding. Yeah, maybe more of padding on the sides, so we can push the text on the middle. And let's see how is this looking on mobile. It's not really that good, so we are going to put this only for medium and beyond, and if it's less, then we are going to put just px5. Let's see now. Now it's much better. We can even put it a little bit more. We can put 10. Nice. And now when it starts to grow, it's becoming, yeah. Now this is really awesome. And if we refresh, it's going to be generated like this. So here we can write something about ourselves. We are doing that and that. That's about me section. And awesome. Let's just quickly test all sections on small resolutions. So welcome to my portfolio. This one is looking great. About me. Here it is. Projects. Everything is working with the projects and interested in working together. Send me an email. We have the button and also we have our footer. Actually, our footer now is the ugliest in this project because we are not using any fancy components, but it's just there. We can replace it with whatever we want. Nice. I like the project, and this is probably the simplest way to create your own small portfolio. That's it, warriors. I hope you enjoyed and you have this entire project on a public GitHub repo in the description below. And if you want more content like this, join the Horde and become a true web dev warrior.